The first thing I'd like to touch on is the significance of the Shawnee, because for a national park to be established, it has to be considered an area that has unique natural geological features on a national scale. And often, as a local, we tend to forget what is really in our own backyard. And it's important that I point out that the Shawnee is unlike any other national forest in the central United States. We have, coming together in this little part of Illinois, there are 5 different physiogeographic regions that collide together that really make the Shawnee's vegetation unique, and as a result, the animals that are found in the Shawnee. So we have, coming from the north, the great glaciation, what's called the Southern Till Plain, meets up right at the northern boundary of the Shawnee National Forest. And from there it hits the Shawnee Hills, which are unglaciated, sandstone-dominated landscape with bluffs and you know, some of the best rock climbing in the world is found in the Shawnee. We have, you know, some of the most beautiful waterfalls, and the largest waterfall in the state of Illinois is Burden Falls. Then, as you travel to the west side of the Shawnee, the sandstone of the Shawnee Hills collides with the limestone of the Ozark Plateau. And so we actually have the Ozarks just creeping into Illinois on the west side. So you've got that really unique factor. Just on the other side of the Illinois Ozarks is the Mississippi, the massive Mississippi floodplain. And then to the south of this whole magical area, you have the cypress tupelo swamp areas, the coastal plain region, you know, where you find these southern swamps. You know, it's so unique, and because of our central geographic location as well, we have so many species coming together. We have one 4.5 square mile area. It's an ecological area on the west side of the forest called LaRue Pine Hills that has almost 1,200 species of plants in it. We have, across the forest itself, we have 4 designated by the National Park Service, by the way, National Natural Landmarks. And again, designated by their unique natural and geological aspects. And they include LaRue Pine Hills, Little Grand Canyon, Bell Smith Springs, and Lusk Creek Canyon, National Natural Landmark. So we have 4 of those. And then we have the Garden of the Gods, probably the most photographed shot in view of Illinois that you can find is a picture of Camel Rock overlooking the Garden of the Gods wilderness area. Then you add to the fact that we have a National Historic Trail. The Trail of Tears goes right through the Shawnee National Forest. So we are loaded with all of this incredible diversity. We're loaded with these beautiful scenes. You know, the High Knob is one of the most magnificent views. Go to Alto Pass and see that magnificent view of Bald Knob and Clear Springs Wilderness. I mean, it's really surprising to me that someone hasn't come up with a proposal to take it out of the Department of Ag and put it into becoming a national park and preserve as well. So this is why we're looking to change the designation and shift it from the Department of Agriculture, shift the Shawnee into the Department of Interior Park Service. Now, one benefit, a great benefit from that, it's well documented, whenever a national park is established, economies just boom around these national parks. And what's so unique about Southern Illinois is we have many little small towns. You know, it's scattered all about that can benefit from this. It's small towns, you know, rural areas, and all these different businesses that have developed, like wineries, microbreweries, bed and breakfasts, some of the incredible eateries that we have tucked in the hollers of the Shawnee, and I think it'll help develop more such businesses, and I think the ones that are already here will thrive immensely from that.
The way the Shawnee is spread out across the entire region, you know, like a lot of national parks, especially out west, the areas are so remote that there's 1 or 2 small towns around park entrances. And here, places like Golconda, Anna, Vienna, Harrisburg, Marion, Carbondale, Murfreesboro, Olive Branch, Thebes. I mean, there's dozens of communities that will be positively impacted. Typically there's no hunting in national parks, but you can create carve-outs in the enabling legislation, which is something we're definitely going to have to do because we won't get the public support that we need if we don't have hunting, if hunting is not allowed.
We want to create the new Shawnee National Park and Climate Preserve. Many national parks have preserves associated with them. There are currently 63 national parks in the country, and there's 21 national preserves. And preserves allow for more flexibility. In most national parks, there's not hunting and trapping permitted. Dispersed camping is not permitted in most national parks, but that sort of thing can happen in a preserve. The overwhelming majority of the Shawnee would be a preserve. So the difference is you will have places like Garden of the Gods, Bellsmith Springs, maybe a little Grand Canyon, will be part of the park, but then outside of those recreation areas, most of it is going to be a national preserve. And this one's going to be dedicated to climate. People can still hunt, people can still trap, you can boat around your lakes like you have in the past, but we're not going to mine it and log it.
It's going to take community involvement, and I think we are taking a wide-based approach to trying to appeal to business interests, trying to appeal to tourism interests, trying to appeal to environmentalists. That's one way we can kind of entice some of the politicians too, say, hey, you can be on the bottom floor of getting the first national park designation for Illinois. And I think the climate preserve thing can't be overlooked either. I see a myriad of reasons to do it and very few not to.